Hi guys, so in today's video I'd like to explain to you a little more about what regression is, specifically linear regression. So you can see here that we have a graph, and on the x-axis you can see that the size of these homes in feet squared is represented, and on the y-axis you can see that the price of these homes in thousands of dollars is represented. And we have various data points, right? One right here, another one right here, and another one right here, right? A bunch of data points. And what our regression model will do is construct a line of best fit. And this line of best fit will look something like this. And you can see that this line of best fit models the data pretty well. And this line of best fit is used to predict the output given just the input. So say we wanted to know the price in thousands of dollars of a home with the size that's, let's say, 1,500 feet squared. Right? Well, our linear regression model will use its line of best fit, this line that we constructed right here, to basically predict the price of this home. So it will look at the x point, the x value right here, and then look at the corresponding y value, and you can see that in this case it's around 290 thousands of dollars, right? We want to make sure we're using these units. So what our linear regression model did in this case is it constructed a line of best fit given the training data that it was given, and then predicted the output only given the input. And I can represent the data here shown in the graph in columns. So this is the left side will represent the x values and the right side will represent the y values. So we had various data points that we circled, so I'll just write down the ones that we circled in the graph above. So one had an x value of 1,000 and a corresponding y value of 180. Another data point had an x value of 1,400 and a price of 460. And the third data point had an x value of 2,200 and a corresponding y value of 480. So I just jotted down some of the data points in the graph above. And now I'd like to go over some terminology related to linear regression here. Training data is the data used to train the model. So all of these data points that we included in our graph that our linear regression model used to construct a line of best fit is called our training set. And our x values, which are these things right here, these are called our input variables or features. And the y value is called the output or target variable. And then we'll say M will represent the number of training examples. Okay, so however many data points we had in this graph above is what M corresponds to. And we'll say that X comma Y represents a specific training example. So for example, this data point right here is a specific training example. And you can see that has an X value as well as a Y value. And to access a specific training example, we will use the notation of X superscript I, comma, Y superscript I. Okay, so for example, this training example right here is our third training example in this case, right? Because we'll say this is 1, 2, and 3. So we would represent this as X superscript 3, comma, Y superscript 3. And to explain a bit more about what exactly our regression model does is that it takes in a training set. And we said that this included the features, so these were the x values, and the targets, and these were the y values. And using this training set, it will construct a learning algorithm. And we can represent this learning algorithm as a function. We'll call that function f. Sometimes it may be called a hypothesis. But we'll call it a function for now, okay? And what the goal of this function is that it will take a value x and output a value y, what the machine model thinks the corresponding output value is. And this is not represented by y because y is the actual output. It outputs a predicted output. And we'll represent this as y hat. So it's y with a little hat on the top right there. Okay? And how we'll represent f, our function, is like this. F subscript w comma b of x is equal to w times x plus b. And these parameters, w and b, determine the y hat value. As you can see that we're using the values of w and the values of b to manipulate the value of x in order to get this y hat value. You can see that this relationship here is linear, which is similar to the line of best fit, our linear regression model constructed with the data in this graph. Okay, and we can also represent this as f of x as well. Okay, that was the basics of linear regression as well as some of the notation. I hope you enjoyed.